those scenes could go together though, because she's like, follow me, which could lead right into her being in the library.
Yeah, I should have kept that in. I mean, it is, yeah.
But yeah, I just grabbed a handful of things I thought that made it real weird. You know, you obviously got the meeting of Draco there instead of on the train, or Madame Malkin's. Who discovers that, the Devil's Snare, who actually panics. You have Hermione being the clear-headed one. That might be because she got them through that because they didn't have the potions test. The glass that keeps Dudley trapped in there, that was a little different. One thing I always thought that was weird watching it as well, that big one there, I had no idea that was King's Cross Station. My recollection was Hagrid just left Harry on some bridge in the middle of London. But it makes you wonder, because you go straight from the shack to Diagon Alley to King's Cross, so what have they been doing for a month?
Exactly, yeah.
And then on the lower right-hand corner there, you have Rick Mayall, who was tapped to play Peeves. They did a little bit of filming, then they cut him completely from the films.
Yeah. I mean, they filmed that stuff, and then I heard, we were talking about this, I was talking to some cosplayers in the live stream once, and I'm talking about how he filmed all the stuff, and they paid him, but then he wasn't even invited to the premiere because they deleted all his scenes that he filmed, which was so not fair. But you know, the picture of Hermione in the Devil's Snare, you know, she got them all out of that in the movie, but Ron was like, oh, in the book, he was like, oh, aren't you a witch? You know, can't you, like, do this or that? Because she really didn't really know. I mean, it was like, Ron kind of had to tell her some things.
Well, also, in the book, like, there is no easy, just relax, because really, while that's a cool scene in the movie, it makes no sense why the Sorcerer's Stone would be defended by something that anyone with a passing knowledge of herbology could just be like. But imagine Quirrell just.
Yeah.
It's almost like they just wanted to keep students out and they didn't account for adults.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I really had. This is the dark question mark instead of the dark mark.
Going back to the changes, one change I thought was actually a better move for the movie was to have Ron instead of Hagrid say, wasn't a witch or wizard who went bad that wasn't in Slytherin. Because in the books, that makes no sense, because Hagrid firmly believes that Sirius Black was a murderer.
Yeah.
And it shows his prejudices going in, and it makes it a little bit more acceptable for that prejudice to be coming from the voice of a child than the voice of an adult, who's especially seen as our first authority figure in the world of wizarding, the wizarding community. So it makes it okay for that to come out of the voice of a child. We give them a pass a bit more than we do adults. I thought that, when I mentioned this in the emails, when I was reading the book, that the moving staircases would be amazing, and I would love them. And then I saw the film, and I got vertigo. And I was pretty sure that was it. It's not an OSHA violation because they're in England, but it's one of those things that would eventually potentially cause someone to fall into a vat of acid and become the Riddler or something. It was a bad, it was, no.
So when I was rewatching the movie, I was rewatching it again after that email, so I had that in mind. What I took away from the moving staircases was the way they're filmed really make Hogwarts look like it's one big tower. Like there's like no sprawling maze to the castle. Like it makes no sense that anyone would get lost in the film in the castle as presented in Sorcerer's Stone, because it's basically a vertical shaft
with
little
spokes coming off.
Yeah.
But they shot it at a beautiful abbey where there are so many beautiful hallways that they did take film in, but they didn't do a good job of piecing them together to give you the whole concept. Like, and the directions of where it is, the third floor corridor on the right-hand side. Right hand from which direction? That's not very specific if you're trying to keep someone from coming to an untimely death.
Yeah, which, when I was like, just because of the way my mind worked, I just assumed as a kid that like that right hand side like never clicked with me. I thought it was like the entire third floor was off limits, which would make more sense in a way. But then I was always so confused because they're like in later years there's so many classes on the third floor that it's almost like, but wait, what about all this?
Yeah, there's your incredible tower view.
Yeah.
Yeah, you wouldn't get lost in that. And where are those staircases going?
Yeah.